Hey guys, please check out StoneAgeGamer.com. It's where I go for my gaming accessories and games. It's got some great stuff. So check out StoneAgeGamer.com, link below. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is John with Gamester81.com. This episode, I'm going to show you part 2 of my game pick, as I'll put a link, part 1 here. Over 50 games on 19 platforms, so I've got a lot to cover. I got a lot of homebrew games I'm going to show you too from various companies. So let's get started. First homebrew game is for the NES, classic NES. This is all new Punch-Out. Now this is by a company called Time Walk Games. They're no longer around, unfortunately, which is a bummer because they released a lot of hack games, meaning they took a game, they hacked it, they changed it a little bit, and they released it. So this is a Punch-Out. But what they did is they took the original Punch-Out and they changed the characters, added new characters. They even took some of the characters from Super Punch-Out and put them in here. It's actually a really fun game. If you like Punch-Out, it plays identical, but it's pretty clever. I had to get this complete in box. And like I said, the company's no longer around, which closed doors several years ago, which is unfortunate. Another game I got recently at Portland Retro Gaming Expo is a brand new NES game called Armed for Battle. This is a strategy game. It's pretty fun. Graphically, it's not going to blow you away graphically, but gameplay-wise, you have to basically build up your army. You build up how much, who's could be an archer, your armory, horses, all that, and then you go to battle. It's pretty fun. It's a strategy game. Nothing quite like it for the NES. The music's actually really good, and the manual in this thing is super thick. So the learning curve is a little steep. There's no save codes. There's passwords that you use for it. But if you like strategy games, it's definitely one to check out. Armed for Battle, really fun NES game. Then the next homebrew NES game I picked up was Battle Kid 2. This is available on a website called retrousb.com by Civac Games. Civac is a good friend of mine, actually, and this is kind of like plays very similar to Mega Man. Very, very challenging game, though. And graphically, it's amazing. Musically, it's amazing. If you like Mega Man, definitely check out Battle Kid 2. Battle Kid 1 is awesome as well. For the Intellivision, I picked up Sydney Hunter and the Shrines of Peril and Space Raid. Go over Sydney Hunter first. Sydney Hunter is a game at CollectorVision Games that we just produced, come in with, and it kind of plays very similar to Smurf Rescue for the ColecoVision, if you played that before. He's a new character, and I like Smurf Rescue. I was excited that this was ported to the Intellivision because that game never came out for the Intellivision. Next one is Space Raid. It plays similar to Zaxxon, but the original Zaxxon for the Intellivision played differently. It's not isometric shooter like you would think, like the arcade. This one is, so they definitely fixed that. It's a fun space shooter. It does get challenging. Graphically, it's okay. It's for the Intellivision. You can't really expect much, but it's pretty fun. Next game I picked up is Joust for the ColecoVision. This is a game that came out recently. I love Joust, based on the classic Midway arcade game. You can play up to 2 players. There's 3 different difficulty settings. A whole object is you're on this ostrich, and there's these birds, and you're supposed to land on top of them. They turn eggs, collect the eggs. It's a pretty simplistic idea, but it gets very, very challenging later on. It's great. Here's Princess Quest for the ColecoVision, another homebrew. It plays very similar to Ghosts and Goblins, if you've played like that, but it's a completely different game. Music's great, and there's only 1 player. There's 5 demons-filled areas, which is cool. If you have the ColecoVision flashback, it's actually on there as well. This is another homebrew. This is Goonies. This is, you need the Super Game module to play this, but this came out for the MSX computer, although it did come out for the Nintendo PlayChoice Arcade. The music's great. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't really follow the movie very well. You basically have to, there's 5 different levels. It does play different than Goonies 2 on the NES. So if you ever wondered where Goonies 1 was, now it's available for the ColecoVision. Next game is Nibbly. This is based on an arcade game. It's also for the ColecoVision. This is like Snake. If you ever played Snake on your phone back in the day, it's very similar like that. Your biggest enemy is yourself. It's a maze game. You collect these tablets, you get longer and longer, and you have to make sure you make the right move. You can't run into yourself. Next one is Flappy Bird for the ColecoVision. A lot of us may know Flappy Bird for the iOS and for Android. This is for the ColecoVision. Surprisingly, graphically, it's really good. Gameplay is spot on. It's a really addicting game. Next one is Telebunny. This plays very similar to, like, I think Pac-Man. It's a maze game, but you play as a bunny who also telepathically controls a turtle. And you're supposed to turn these items into fruit and get the turtle to eat the fruit. But in the meantime, there's a snake going around the maze, and you have to avoid him. So there's multiple things going on. It's a really interesting and challenging game. If you like Pac-Man, I think you'll enjoy Telebunny. Next one is Super Mindfield for the ColecoVision. This is a homebrew game. The object is you have to get point 1 A to point B on the screen, avoiding minefields. So it's kind of a you have to be strategic about it. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. Definitely not my favorite ColecoVision game, but it's still pretty enjoyable when and it gets very stressful when you land on the mine. Trust me. Next game I'll show you. This is for the Super Nintendo. This is a homebrew. Well, it's actually a repro, I should say. It's a Super 3D Noah's Ark. This came out initially for the Super Nintendo by a company called Wisdom Tree. This one actually comes with the cart instead, so they basically reproduce it by Pico Interactive. It's a first-person shooter based on Wolfenstein 3D engine, but you play as Noah in his ark, and you're supposed to feed these animals. It's one of the most bizarre games I've ever played. It's super rare initially, but you can get it on picointeractive.com for like 40 to 60 bucks. Not bad. Next one is Super Nintendo game. It's called The Legend of Zelda: Goddess of Wisdom. I picked this up in Portland for 50 bucks, but this is basically a ROM hack of Zelda 3: Link to the Past. If you like Zelda 3, this is a new story. Same map, same world, but some fans created together and made their own story, which is cool. So you may want to check this out if you're a big fan of Link to the Past, which me personally is my favorite Zelda game. I've been looking for this game for a while for the Super Nintendo. This is Street Fighter 2 Alpha, or Street Fighter Alpha 2, I should say. This is the last Street Fighter game ported to the Super Nintendo, and it's just a lot of fun. It came out in 1996. Graphically, it's okay. It's actually surprisingly, it plays really well on the Super Nintendo. You know, it's not the best port of the system. You find a better ports on, you know, other consoles that came out later, of course. But still, for a 16-bit console, this is definitely a really impressive game. I'm not sure how many megs, 32 megs of power. I think this is like the most powerful cartridge for the system, actually. Another fighting game I picked up for the Jaguar is Double Dragon 5. The 5 is very subtle on the label. It's interesting, but I was expecting this to be a beat 'em up. It's actually a fighter, and it's not a very good one at that. Graphically, it looks like it's on a 16-bit system, even though it's supposed to be 32-bit Jaguar. It's a game you could definitely leave off the library for the Jaguar. Not very good. The last games I'm going to show you are NES games I picked up. I got a bunch of these box ones at a retail store in, I believe, Topeka, Kansas. And it's called Vintage Stock. They have a chain of stores throughout the Midwest. I love the store, and they had a whole bunch of these box NES games I couldn't pass up on. Rollerblade Racer, paid $4 for this. This is by a company called High Tech, and it's kind of done an isometric view. It's like kind of reminds me of Back to the Future Forward, or even like Paperboy. You're in this. There's all these different cracks and things you have to jump over, almost like California games. It's a pretty fun game. Next one is Marble Madness, $5, based on the arcade. This is by Milton Bradley. It's again, isometric view. You're controlling this marble. You might have to avoid from falling off the edge. There's other like worms that get you, and there's other marbles. And you know, the idea is just so fun. It's one of my favorite arcade games. It's awesome. It plays a little hard to play on using the D-pad, and the arcade uses the rollerball. Tiny Toon Adventures 2 for the NES, a platforming game based on Tiny Toon Adventures, the TV show. Pretty good graphics. Graphically, it's great. It's by Konami, and it's really fun. You can enjoy games like DuckTales and stuff like that by Capcom. You'll enjoy this game. Pretty fun. Next one is Stealth ATF. It's not a great game. I paid $3 for it complete. It's kind of like Top Gun. It's your first person perspective. It's a shooting game. It's in air. Yeah, it's not great. This one I got a good deal. It's $10 I paid. This is incredible. Crash Test Dummies. You guys remember these in the 90s? This is actually a lot of fun. But this is a pretty rare game to find. Silent Scope, Silent Service is another game, came out for the NES. It's a submarine strategy game, basically. Kind of, it's okay. Rad Racer 2 by Square picked up for $6. It's a racing game. Love Rad Racer 1. Rad Racer 2 is equally as good. Complete box. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is another great NES game. It's an adventure game, and the fighting elements is cool. There's like a fencing part of it too. If you play games like Willow or Zelda, it's like an adventure game top down like that, and then the fighting elements are side to the side. The last one is Trog for the Nintendo, based on the arcade, and paid $7 for it. I guess it's kind of an unusual game to find. It's kind of like Pac-Man. You're at the stand store collecting little like eggs, and then there's these cavemen going around the screen as well trying to get you, and you can get like upgrades. You can eat these cavemen, and it's really cool. A lot of fun. It's by Acclaim. Well, guys, that completes my game pickup. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to stay in touch, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as my website, Gamester81.com. Let me know what you guys think of these game pickups, and also leave a comment below. Let me know what games you've picked up recently. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Happy gaming.